umbrella tonight. So this is the game 2 of the winners bracket finals between Union Gaming and Top 5. What do you think this is going to turn out to be, Helium?
Well, it looks like it might just be a Union Gaming Peru stomp, as after game 1 they looked extremely dominant, very aggressive lineup. I mean, not even a whole lot of stuns. We saw earlier Top 5 making some good plays with the denials because of the Venomancer poison that was being applied, and getting ahead early in the laning stage. But as soon as Timbersaw got his chakram out, they had their supports roaming around. Lifestealer got the Phase Drum's Armlet at 14 minutes, and then after that, the BKB at 15 on the Shadow Fiend, and Union Gaming just walked over Top 5.
Yeah, so Union Top 5 definitely need to go back to the drawing board, rethink up a little bit of their draft, and maybe they can try to pull this one back together. I mean, they still showed a little bit of life in the early game, with their great denies there. They're dropping out the first 2 kills, keeping them out of the hands, but they let the other 2 lanes snowball a little bit out of control without too much background support, and so they might need to try to keep on top of that a little bit better rather than just trying to focus on their tri-lane.
Reserve time.
Yeah, and we'll see what they want to go with. Top 5, I mean, Timbersaw was neither picked nor banned, and we just saw how much Union Gaming wants to get that Venomancer and the Timbersaw, so Top 5 almost has to go for it right here, unless they think they have the answer for it. They go with the Crystal Maiden once again, and then Dragonite now, a mid-hero that after watching Lelouch v Britannia for Slag Iron Tiger play is almost my favorite hero now.
I love Dragonite, and to be honest, I've been playing him a lot recently just because I got that cosmetic from the Lockless Luck box from that DOTA2 sweatshirt that I got, which I'm wearing right now, by the way. But,
I'm not, unfortunately.
Just put it on, man.
I should. We could cast
yeah.
in our uniforms.
Oh, yeah, so... But yeah, this is a hero that is incredibly strong in the early game. You can pretty much kiss your towers goodbye. But of course, Union Gaming going for that combo I talked about and last game, where it's the Timbersaw Venomancer, complete and utter anti-push. And Timbersaw, especially versus any strength hero such as Dragonite, he really forces you to be really careful about your positioning, because Timbersaw can blow almost anyone up.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a lot of magic damage, so Dragonite, very high armor hero, not incredibly tanky compared to the output, the burst damage output that Timbersaw can give off even at level 6, so they've got to watch out for that, but the damage over time, the eating away there is going to be pretty nice for,
definitely.
Doing the quick damage to Timbersaw in the early game as well, but a lot of bans coming out.
Yeah, Dragonite also has an incredible nuke of his own, but yeah, go ahead and talk about the bans here.
Yeah, so for the band's Top 5, they take out the Lifestealer. They don't want to have to deal with that, the Benjaz Lifestealer once again. They also take out the Juggernaut, just maybe worried about some push or how annoying that healing word could potentially be. And then Union Gaming, they ban out a very push-centric hero, one that can also be aggressive and turn into a carry. That's the Enchantress. What a great hero that really is. Shout out to I'm a Sheep Sucks from E-Hug. And then, of course, Bristleback as well. And since we just did that one, we might as well shout out to Cakes.
Reserve time.
Bristleback's annoying.
NAs here. Yeah, I've seen Bristleback a lot, and that's just because he's such a tanky hero. He's almost impossible to kill if you let him go a little bit too long. And I think it was the other day I was casting, he was picked up in a couple of games, and each one he had a pretty sizable impact on. But I know you're aching to talk about this. I know you're really aching to talk about this. What about this IO pickup?
I don't know. We don't see it a lot anymore, and when you do see it, it's not necessarily even with one of his best friends like CK, like Tiny, Ursa, what have you.
Let's remember that combination that he had with his best friends kind of got nerfed with that stun removal.
Yeah, I mean, it's still good, though. You're going to have time to TP out from an Ursa with Overpower? Probably not, if you're the only one he's focusing on. So it's still good, and it can still be used, but I'm just... This tether into the Overcharge later on, if they make it to level 16, this Dragonite is going to be freaking on... He's going to be raid boss mode.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. Overcharge plus Dragonite's natural ability to tank through almost everything you can throw at him.
And then the cleave attack speed that Overcharge is going to give as well.
Oh, man. That's incredible to think about. But do you think it's going to be IO Dragonite, maybe dual mid? Or do you think IO's going to go ahead and farm up some other carry?
There's no reason to do that. Dragonite can easily just be safe in his mid lane and
Well,
do
it's
okay.
not so much just being safe and being okay, it's getting the IO levels is what I'm worried
Yeah,
about.
I think, I mean, you can jungle the Wisp effectively. You can stack up, clear it later on. I mean, with the Crystal Maiden, the potential to jungle with the Frostbite right off the start,
10
do the
seconds
pulling and the
remaining.
defensive lane. It shouldn't be too bad. What they may have to watch out for is a strong aggressive
5
lane,
seconds
adding on
remaining.
two heroes with that Venomancer. It looks like it
man.
might be a Marana Bane or Marana plus one more
Oh,
stuff.
yes!
Wow.
We're gonna get a Tiny out here.
Really didn't expect that, to
This
be
is
honest.
one of my favorite heroes, to be honest, and I think it's ever since I saw what was it, the eHome game? I can't remember. Was it Orange eHome?
Well, how long? eHome has not been around since like 2010.
But it was way back. It was like TI2 losers bracket finals. The Wisp Tiny insane comeback,
10 seconds
and
remaining.
ever since then, I have pretty much devoted my
5
life
seconds
to the carry Tiny.
remaining.
Even when people were still like so obsessed with getting Blink Dagger Arcanes on him, I kept pushing for the Drums Yasha build. I kept pushing for the tanky carry build, and no one listened to me until he started coming back a little while. I think it was a Fnatic that started running him more and more often, and I just love his potential as a damage dealer in the early game and as a strong auto attacker in the late game. When you pair him up with a Dragon Knight, all your towers belong to them.
Yeah, top 5 has some terrifying tower killing abilities right there, especially if they take it later. Either the Tiny or the Dragonite can be hard to kill, and then they pick up the Elder Titan as well, so they've got some good counter push up their sleeves. But early game, I don't know. Union Gaming's pretty scary right now. They've got the Marana, they've got the Bane. Whenever I see that, I get a little scared.
But now top 5, they've rounded out their... You see, this is what I'm talking about, by the way. Okay, last game, Elder Titan, if he's not banned first, he's either picked up last or not at all. I don't get it. But either way, they've got an Elder Titan, and now they've gotten that 33% damage amp, magic damage amp. They've got that minus 100% on base armor at level 4, of course. And that really makes it scary to go up against the Tiny DK. So I'm gonna go. We can go ahead and introduce the teams because we don't have a pause right now. Which team did I do last time? I think I did Union Gamers, so I'll go ahead and do them again. We've got Kuxin playing the Swagger Fiend once again. Gosu Ray is gonna be on the Bane. We have Benjez, which will be leaping it around on the Marana. We have PMJPS on the Venomancer here, and Angel will be playing the Timber Saw.
All right, and on the Radiant for this round, we've got top 5. Shanks here, their captain, on the Crystal Maiden, supporting hard. And alongside him is going to be Life Winner on the Wisp. I still call it Wisp. Wisp or IO, take your pick. We've got Nor here on the Elder Titan off lane. Stout Shield and some regen. We'll be going actually 1v1 against the Timbersaw, so even possibility to get some decent farm up there. Mid lane, though, it's going to be fight, fight, fight on the Dragon Knight. And, of course, that support Tiny that hopefully everyone is just excited as Ted to see. We've got Fly on that carry Tiny.
So I would like to note that our fight, fight, fight has the shield that I got from the Lockless Luck box. So good on him for picking that up. One of my favorites.
Maybe he also is an owner of a sweatshirt.
Maybe.
The
I mean,
Brewmaster sweatshirt.
I know the Secret Shop was giving away those Lockless Luck boxes back at the International. It looks like they have an International courier, so that probably is where they got it. But if they have the sweatshirt as well, we should go and contact them. Maybe we can all wear the sweatshirts together.
I'm pretty sure they're a West Coast. I believe they're all like Chinese students over here in America. I don't want to be completely incorrect, but I think that's right. And they live on the West Coast, so I wouldn't doubt it that they were all at TI3. Given the autographed Admiral Bulldog Scythe of Vice that Nora was rocking in the last game.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I would have loved to go to TI3, but I just live so damn far away.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
So it looks like Bane wants to make a go on Life Warner here, but doesn't get within range of it. I don't think he would have been able to pick up a kill anyway, but every single Nightmare is a potential for an arrow, and that is scary in and of its own right.
Yeah, this aggressive tri-lane, it's going against duo lane right now, and it's basically shoot the ball of light with the arrow, which is a pretty good strategy, because Fly, he's not going to be able to take the Nightmare off, because of course he is melee, so he's going to have to get pretty close before he can right-click it off, and then he puts his own life in danger. Crystal Maiden might want to wander back down, but she's trying to jungle up and hit 2 off of the map just to be a threat that way, having her presence unknown.
So Fight's having a little bit of trouble in the mid lane going up against the Shadow Fiend here. Really struggling to find his CS. Meanwhile, Kuxin is having a grand old time. Whenever Fight gets close, it's the same old thing. You threw a couple of raises at him, auto-attack him with your massive damage now that you've got 9 souls, and just watch him just kind of slink away.
Yeah, and then just coming off of the game, the performance he had on that Shadow Fiend in game 1, now into this one, he's feeling good about it. He's doing well, you know. Last hit, attack the enemy, deny your creep. Last hit, attack the enemy, deny your creep. Just keep cycling that. And seems to be doing a good job, 9 and 4. But DK, 6 and 0, doesn't need a whole lot of farm. Just that level 6, Dragon Form, and maybe an early BKB or Shadow Blade.
So in the bottom lane, we have a lot of aggression coming out here, and it's really making the life for Fly and Life Winner really difficult.
Overlay, you did the overlay again.
I am not doing the overlay. I meant to switch it right now. It's still 2 minutes in the game. Not bad. So Nor on the top lane is taking a lot of damage. It looks like they're trading hits, but it looks like they're going to go ahead and disengage. They're having a little bit of a slap contest there, and looks like they're just going to disengage off the Astral Spirit to Fly, doing a little bit of damage off Angel, but nothing too much. And here we go. There is a gank that we're looking for. Kuxin going to be gone on, but he might be in a lot of trouble here, as it looks like Fight's falling really low, and he's going to give away first blood. Shanks might be in a little bit of trouble here. Can't seem to find the damage to pick him off. It is now going to take a lot. But
why did he medium race first? He could have turned that around, I think. I mean, it's hard to say a misplay when he already survived a 1v2 gank and almost killed them both, but I think he could have had them both right there. And actually, right off of that, we've got Union Gaming now smoking up, and looking to roam here into the bottom lane, setting up the Nightmare.
Yep, they're going to get it.
Yes.
There's just no running away from this.
Yeah, I mean, the tower's there, but it's busy attacking creeps, so...
So already, Union Gaming out of the gate swinging, and they did exactly, Top 5 did exactly what they wanted to do, and that's go ahead and try to get the gank out on Kuxin, but unfortunately, the Fight was just way too low to try to make anything happen, and it was just, it was awful time for them to engage.
Yeah, and then I'll just cover you, by the way, for the overlay. My internet has recently went into the toilet, so I'm usually the streamer. I've thrown it onto Tom. He's a little newer with the streaming. It's not as easy to learn as you might think, so in all reality, it's actually my fault. But it's fixed now, so we can
it's all
cheer
good.
And praise.
It's all memorizing the hotkeys for me, remembering to push it. And unfortunately, the big reminder that I said I had, I actually put that behind the screen for the time being. I should have pulled it right back out, but when you got to remember to put out the reminder. That
exactly.
Oh, it's just so weird. But already, Shanks and Lifewin are way behind their tier 1. Just worried about this rotation and from Ghost Array and from PMJP. And this is just going to mean that their mid-tier 1 is abandoned and left to die.
Well, it's still, you know, pretty healthy right now. There's not too much damage coming at it. But here's another creep wave. The illusions there from Shadow Fiend that he picked up are cutting off the current creep wave. PMJPS can drop down those Plague Wards and help to push it a little bit. But with this rotation here, a tiny...
we're going to go for a Nightmare out onto... Fight. But from Crystal Maiden, a Breathe Fire dealing a hefty amount of damage, but Ghost Array is just moving a little bit too fast for them. They don't have any secondary lockdown. The Frostbite's got a second off cooldown, and now here comes Kuxin. Big baddie old Shadow Fiend is going to go straight back into the Crystal Maiden, but not going to be able to deal enough damage in the amount of time that he required, and so they're all going to get away, but some dealing more damage or sustaining more damage than others.
Yeah, Venomancer kind of got separated from the pack there. Maybe if he was there, they could have potentially got somebody. But Bane, he's a fast hero to start off, some decent move speed, and with those boots, he's at a 365 now, and of course a 315 base compared to, of course, Crystal Maiden's 285. So able to outrun, even with the, what was it, the 30% movement slow coming out from the Crystal Nova.
So the real winner of that movement, of that rotation from the side of Union Gaming is actually this Wisp Piney lane. Already,
yeah, exactly.
Fly has gotten a good amount of XP, accelerated his farm, from that little bit of lull, and Ios just had the time to pull some creep camps and try to find, at least get close to that level 4 and then go from there. We're probably going to look at a very late 6, though, coming out from him. Angel sustaining a lot of damage, but not going to be quite enough to pull him out. It looked like Nor had a poison on him, but I couldn't exactly see. It might have been the Whirling Death coloration that gets left on him. Up
Yeah,
mid lane,
probably.
Shadow Fiend actually takes a fall to a double damage Dragon Knight. So there's some good
Shanks,
rotation.
big misclick, TP'd, wasted the TP instead of placing the sentry.
Oh, man.
Unfortunate. Talking about this top lane, though, Elder Titan versus Timbersaw. I was actually watching a random VOD, actually, the action up here. The Nightmare goes out. There's the Chakram, but do they even have the damage to chase this guy down? Also very fast with the Astral Turn. 423 move speed, and he's okay. And bot lane, actually, Tiny picking up the kill on Mirana.
You're going to have to blame the camera guy a little bit. I was watching top lane. I didn't quite catch that Miranda kill, but look, I did get the Wisp. He falls to Kuxin, and yeah, that's the end of that. Tiny ends up, though, he picks up a kill, and that's going to be pretty huge for them. And it looks like Shanks, as well as Fight want to go straight in on this. There's a Dragon Tail, but the tower is going to town on this Dragon Knight. Immediately gets blown up, and now Crystal Maiden. Next to fall, Shanks and Fight getting a little aggressive there. They really wanted that. I don't think it was the smartest move.
Yeah, I mean, they saw him, they're like, oh, we got him, 872 HP, but he was able to maneuver behind the trees, set up the vision block. They dove into the tower. DK, not all that tanky yet. I mean, only 8 armor taking a tower this early. And then they handed triple kill over to one of the most snowball-oriented heroes in the game at only 8 minutes. And after the game he last had, I think Citadel's going to put that to use.
So it looks like Miranda might be gone again. There is a toss trying to catch her in the link there, but didn't quite get close.
Looked like it went through the tether. That was kind of awkward, but
yeah, no, it didn't quite hit the tether. If it had hit the tether, she would have been slowed up, and the leap wouldn't have gotten her that much farther away.
Yeah, can you leap? I don't know. I haven't seen Wisp played a whole lot.
You
don't play
can
the
leap,
anyway.
but you can't. You
it's
pretty
just
much can't move.
It's 0 move speed,
Yep.
0 attack speed.
So if you leap away, all you do is you waste the leap because you're only a couple hundred units away, and all you need to do is run after you because you can't move after.
Yeah. Okay, so still, it helps. Would have been nice to have it. I don't think it would have been a kill either way, but
Yeah, they might have been able to get it. I mean, Tiny did have sufficient mana to throw out a stun after it, and maybe try to get another toss to follow up, but either way, it's just keeping Benjez on his toes, and that's going to mean that Fly's going to have a little bit more space to farm.
I mean, saying that though, he's still ahead, Benjaz, on the Mirana compared to the Tiny. He's at 41. That puts him in 3rd place on the CS overall. Shadow Fiend's at 45, and we've got Timbersaw leading the charts here at 57 and 24, but mid lane we might have some action.
Definitely looks like Fight is going in on PGMSP, or what is that? PJMJPS.
Yes.
Oh, man, but the Nightmare going on the Dragon Knight. We did see the Crystal Maiden TP away, though, but Dragon Knight, I don't think it's going to be as lucky. The Nightmare, though, he comes out of it swinging. It looks like he's going to get away with 20 health. Meanwhile, Fly, the rotation from him. There was a level 6, actually, on the Wisp. Just barely. They might be able to get a kill on Kuxin because of it. And they will. Io going to be the one to pick that one up. Not pulling Fly back, though, which is going to leave him in a bit of a predicament. No, Bane's not going to chase after him that much longer. And Nor going back to some slow move speed without that Astral Spirit buff. And DK might be in a lot of trouble. There's a Nightmare out onto the Elder Titan. The arrow to Fly. Nor could fall here. He does fall. And Shanks trying to get the Frostbite out on Angel, does get it, but Angel can just walk away from that, as DK the entire time was just way too low to try to get an engagement, try to participate in that engagement.
Yeah, he almost went down. He had like 3 HP he survived that gank with. And actually all over the map, things go well for top 5. While that mid-engagement was starting out, Benjaz went down to Fly as well as Life Winner in the bottom lane. That Wisp Tiny combination. So Wisp got to level 6 off of that, had the relocate to come into the mid lane, and then won the engagement there. They put 3 kills on the boards, even up to 5-5. And then, of course, that 1 kill there at the end. Timbersaw taking out the Elder Titan. Makes it 6-5 here. Union Gaming, they lead by 1 kill. We checked out the farm just before that, but the gold graph is at equilibrium. XP as well.
Nightmare hitting on Tiny. There is an arrow, but it's not far enough, or it's not close enough. And nope, he still catches out. It's going to be Wisp actually to take that Nightmare. Arrow flies, but I don't think it hit anything.
hit the creep like 2 feet in front of Marana. Just it was kind of hard to see. It was like standing right on the siege engine,
Well,
which you can shoot the arrow through. So
that's when you watch the map and you throw the arrow to watch the map, and you forget that there could be creeps like a couple units in front of you. It's happened to me so often.
and everybody besides Sing Sing, I'm sure.
I think it's even happened to Sing Sing.
No, impossible. Up in the top lane, though, that mid tower also went down there in that engagement. Meanwhile, Dragon Knight goes up top to help out the push there.
This is what happens when you get a level 6 on a Dragon Knight. It's pretty much the time when Dragon Knight is one of those heroes that pretty much has a pace set for himself. From level 6 to level 11, or at least maybe level 16, you should constantly be pushing towers. If all the towers are down, you get your ancient creeps stacked up. At level 11, you go ahead and you take out the ancients. And then at level 16, you should be good enough to fight.
Yeah, that's a good point. It would be a really good idea for... I mean, they have 2 massive cleave heroes. They should be stacking both the jungle as well as the ancients religiously.
Yeah.
Either the Wisp or the Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden can do that and jungle, but as we talk about that, in the jungle we've got the smoke up here by the supports, Gosu Ray on the Bane, PMJPS on the Venomancer, looking for some blood, hoping to find this DK perhaps.
And it looks like Dragon Knight is just going to try to go ahead and take those ancients right about now. I think it would be smart just for him to try to stack it for now, and I guess I'm just a broken record by saying this, but get it stacked, and then when he gets to level 11, really go to try to clear those stacks, because before then, he just is not very efficient at taking them out. Meanwhile, across the map, things are being pushed, and he's busy just trying to find some farm. And that's not exactly what you want from the Dragon Knight. There's going to be a Nightmare out on the fight. He actually walked down the wrong time, but there is a risky relocate coming in. The air split does hit on the Bane, and now there's going to be a killing spree on Fly. Shanks with a beautiful freezing field, but here comes Angel getting plenty of damage out with his Whirling Death. The Courier taking a little bit, but wow.
Yeah, the Shadow Fiend ultimate went off, did quite a chunk of damage. That big Earth Splitter only hit the Bane coming out from Elder Titan, so they were able to drop him pretty quickly, which is nice. He died first, he got no XP, he's still level 5, so there's no Fiend's Grip on the board, but the Timber Saw, he did really well. Most farm on the map, 72-26. Bloodstone's going to be done relatively soon on him, so this Timber Saw is a threat right now, and just not enough to burst down him, and if they leave him alive, then they got to deal with the Marana, they've got to deal with the Shadow Fiend. So there's really 3 key targets and can do a lot of damage. And then soon they're going to have to waste one of their stuns to cancel this Fiend Grip on Bane.
Yeah, definitely. If Bane has good positioning, it's going to be harder and harder to cancel that. But again, Bane in that last fight did get caught in the Earth Splitter, so he didn't much have a chance to survive through it anyway. But Shanks, actually with that incredible freezing field, was one of the key points in that fight. And if he had been able to stay alive, he probably would have been able to keep that fight in Top 5's favor. But, of course, there is where Angel comes into play, completely bursting her down and making sure that she doesn't contribute much more after that.
Yeah, that freezing field did do quite a bit. As you might want to switch over to the net worth tab here at 14.5 minutes. We see Timbersaw, of course, leading it. Shadow Fiend in second, 1,000 behind that, and the bottom third place at 5.5, but it's Fly's tiny at 5,000 as they try to chase down Angel. The Marana ultimate gonna dissuade any further aggression as Benjaz himself looks to push down this top tower.
So yeah, it's just a completely striped net worth, chat. You got 3 from the Dire, from Union Gaming, and then all of Top 5, and then another 2 from Union Gaming. So when it comes to your carries, Union Gaming are on top, and all of that, we have a great stomp coming in. All 3, there is a relocate, and there is Kookson as well as PGMP calling the Earth Split. Goes to Ray King, throwing down the Phoenix Grip, but really to no effect at all. But there's the Chakram as well as the arrow, both connected on the poor old Io there. They can't seem to chase down either one, Marana or Angel. So some great, not the best return kill, a great set of skills being thrown out by Top 5 to secure 3-for-1 engagement, putting the score at 11-11 at 15.5 minutes. And Tiny is now climbing up the ranks, and the net worth is only about 100 gold away from the Marana, and keeping up with the, is actually ahead now by 200. So wow, he's keeping up. He's at, oh, wait, he was at the top for a second.
They're very close. They're all very close. Someone bought an item. Basically, he's in second place. He's jumped a few ranks, but That pretty much shows you right there why pushing into Elder Titan can be extremely dangerous. They see Crystal Maiden, Union Gaming gets a little enticed, they start drooling a little bit, looking at that free food, and then all of a sudden they get stomped up by the Echo Stomp coming out from the ET. A beautiful Earth Splitter that really had put Citadel against the wall when he tried to retreat. And then, of course, that 35% flat damage coming out from that of the max HP.
Which one's Citadel? Is Cookson Citadel?
Yeah, that's Citadel.
Oh, should I be calling him Citadel?
I mean, I don't really know. He's obviously changed his name for a reason, but I'm still gonna call him Citadel. We can call him by his real name if we want. I believe he's like, I think his name's actually Jesus.
Oh man, I feel bad for laughing at that. No, but that Earth Split really put Union Gaming over the edge for that team fight. I mean, when you take out Cookson, Citadel, whatever you want to call him, and you bring him down that low off of one skill, it just kind of opened the floor for for Top 5 to just kind of rip apart Union Gaming's lineup. But one of the redeeming factors of that fight for Union Gaming is the fact that not only did Angel survive, but he was able to find the opportunity to make a kill happen, and he was still a pretty big impact on that fight despite them losing the fight. So I'm thinking that he has a great chance to do more in this game, and now Io just getting completely blown out of position.
Oh, the battlefield gets a little darker as the glowing ball of light gets ganked out there in the bottom lane.
Glowing ball of light gets caught in the darkness. There is Bane, the Fiend's Grip.
This is like almost polar opposite heroes, Bane and that Wisp.
This little light of mine, I'm going to grip it with Fiend's Grip.
Exactly. I'm going to give it Eternal Nightmares. And they capitalize on that, going straight in for the Roche Pit, knowing that there's no relocate, at least for 5 seconds. And
yeah,
I don't know if they're going to get Roche that quickly.
And when it can enclose space like that, Elder Titan's a very big problem. He's going to send the Astral Spirit and maybe try to get a stomp off of this. Could he go for one? Nah, doesn't look like he wants to. In fact, it's just going to be fight to live up to his name and go straight on in. There's a relocate, but right in the middle of a Requiem of Souls. Fly is now stunned up with nothing to do. He's getting blown up by the Shadow Fiend, but Cookson getting a couple of kills in the back line. No, it's just going to be him to fall. Meanwhile, Io, Crystal Maiden going to drop low. She'll eventually take a fall, but Nor and Fly looking to try to go on Angel, who is absolutely ripping them to shreds with the Whirling Death. Is just way too strong. Now Nor in a little bit of trouble. He shouldn't be able to get away. He does get away. Wow, Angel a little bit slow on that reaction.
Look how low Roche is after that. I don't know if it was just the Plague Wards attacking it, or maybe if DK or someone else went back in for it, but now sitting on almost no HP, Union Gaming, they're the dire, they're respawning sooner as well, so they're going to be able to get this Roshan, and they even did take the trade a little bit better. I think it went 3 for 4 at the end of that fight.
It was starting to look really good for Top 5, but unfortunately, they just have way too many heroes that are really susceptible to Angel's burst damage. He just kind of walked around and started putting the hurt on. And I think one of the main factors of that fight was the fact that they initiated with a Dragon Knight who got blown to pieces in a couple of seconds, whereas they probably should have initiated with the Stomp a little bit. And Mirana's going to find the Io, or the Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, well, they tried to initiate with the Stomp, and DK was just going in, reading that ability's animation, but they did not expect the BKB to come out from Citadel. They had already started the relocate, and it was all right on top of the epicenter of the Requiem of Souls. So that did quite a bit of damage. The saving grace was Elder Titan had a nice ultimate, the Earth Splitter that came through and hit a few, which does go through BKB.
Yep, definitely.
So there was that, but then, like you said, I mean, everything was expended, the abilities were thrown out, and Timbersaw was able to clean up, but
Venomancer in the mid. Just way too much burst. You got Breathe Fire.
Chilling in the river, safe place.
Well, yeah, not to mention he's out of position a little bit, but Breathe Fire, Avalanche, and Toss is... that's a lot of burst damage. And if they really need to try to coordinate that, because I think Timbersaw will still fall to that if they do get it off on him. He does have 12 charges on his Bloodstone, which means he's always going to have enough mana to do whatever he needs to do. So they need to be careful of that, but... Benjaz might be in a little bit of trouble. They see him with the Astral Spirit, but he's just going to walk right away.
There is a mech up on the Elder Titan as well to note. No mech on the other team, just the Urn, of course, on the Venomancer of PMJPS. Timbersaw looks to be going for either a Shiva's or an AC. There's a BKB up on Citadel, as we already saw used in that Roshan engagement. That was the 10-second charge. Benjaz now picking up one as well. 10-second charge left for him still on the Mirana. And the next team fight, those BKBs are going to help out a lot. But the right click is starting to build here. Fly now working towards his Aghanims, already with a Yasha and a Drums, and then fight on the Dragonite. Has the Shadow Blade, so that pick-off potential is very real now. We already saw it happen to Venomancer, and it can really happen to anybody.
Nora is in a bad position. No TP. Caught in the trees. If he even so much as shows his face, he could get arrowed and die a horrible, painful death. So he's just kind of chilling right now. I'm not sure why he's so far out without a TP, but for the time being, he just has to be really careful.
Likely trying to get to the side shop and couldn't quite manage it, and now he's, you know, he sees everybody, so he's not going to step out of there. Also, if you're baiting someone, you're kind of hard to kill on that tanky Elder Titan. If it's just 2 people, then Tiny Wisp comes in. You can turn that engagement around if Union Gaming starts to, you know, have some lapse in their concentration.
Well,
gotta always remember
5 coming in, so you got to be careful with that one.
Yeah, I mean, that is true too, but you always got to be careful. Sometimes you start getting ahead and then you forget about that Tiny Wisp combo and throw some ganks away that are maybe a little too reckless.
So some great timing coming out from the Elder Titan, knew exactly when he needed to walk by so as not to aggro the creep wave and reveal his position. There's about 2 minutes left on, or 3 minutes left on that Aegis, so the arrow does come in, and actually a Gale hits on 2. Fight, Fiend Script up, there's not much to do, there's already a relocating though, and on the back lines of everyone, Fly is about to get blown up completely. They're trying to run. 6 seconds they have to get away before the Wisp can bring them back, and it looks like they are going to be able to do that. Unless it gets blown up, no. So a very lucky maneuver by Fly and by Life Winner here, as they almost certainly could have died a horrible, painful death there.
Yes, they could have. It was a good engagement, though. You said the Gale went off on 2 of them. It was actually the Gale and the Poison Nova. Not that the Gale is doing anything besides providing a slow. It's still rank 1, but the Poison Nova went off on the heroes they needed to bring down, namely the DK. Fly and Life Winner came in near the end of that, but with the BKBs they couldn't do anything, and I think they're lucky to escape, which you may have mentioned, but I heard some messaging noises. I don't know if that was coming through from your end, but it was really confusing me.
It shouldn't be. My mic doesn't pick up anything other than my voice, so.
Well then, oh, it's Facebook. I logged into Facebook to find out what Citadel's real name was. It is Jesus Carrion, by the way, and I'm probably butchering that.
Way to broadcast that over the airwaves, dude.
Yeah, whatever. We have real names. I feel like I'm a proponent for going with real names in esports, because I don't know. I don't think the handles is what's gonna get everyone incredibly popular, you know, because it's just like another name to know on top of knowing someone's name. So we'll see. But
come on.
At the same time, I don't think
this. What'd you rather call No Tail? No Tail, or what is it? Hovan?
That sounds pretty badass too. I really just want a massage from him. Is all I want.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't sound badass. I'm just saying, what do you know him by? I think the handle thing is what makes esports unique.
Yeah, you do now, and I don't know if we should necessarily strive to be what other mainstream sports are currently doing, and we should probably do our own thing, which, you know, handles is nice. It is still the internet.
And come on, you can't deny that sometimes they give popular sports guys some crazy handles too, so.
Ocho Cinco.
I mean, you don't see any handle guy being called Ferrari 430, but
I don't think that would fly in mainstream media. Although Ferrari might like the free advertisement, not that they really need it. But anyway,
some really bad basketball player. But either way, yeah. Top lane getting heavily pushed in. While all our regular banter was going on, meanwhile Tiny doing what he does best and completely ransacking the Dyer's side of the map. They've evened up the tower score right now, even though the kill score may not seem to in their favor. We take a look at the gold at XP, and Union Gamers, they have a lead, but when you compare it to the last game, it is pretty much nothing. I mean, 7,500 gold at 25 minutes is not something that you typically see.
It's not 14,000 at 18 minutes. Yeah. So that's good.
It's definitely not an end game. I think the popular term is not insurmountable. I catch myself using that.
I like to say that.
I know everyone says it, and I think it was just because I heard Cheever say it once, and it just kind of stuck with me because it was the most classy way to say it, in my opinion. But yeah,
it's okay to reuse good English phrases.
Yeah, especially when you don't know many more.
Like split the wickets, as you know. as everyone can relate to that, because in
Oh,
America
man.
we know so much about cricket.
I can't. I found myself saying that once or twice, and oh man, I don't think I'm proud of that one.
Yeah, most are okay, but this game, let's not forget Tiny Wisp, and I don't think we have forgotten. We've touched on it a few times.
Yep.
I mean, if TI3 was any indication, they can win games. They can push down towers very quickly, and they can just relocate to backdoor. Granted, they only have 12 seconds, but if Tiny gets big enough, that's all he's going to need to take down pretty much a Rax, or just, you know, a whole lane, basically.
Tier 3s are
he can
difficult
demolish
to backdoor, though. Ranged Raxes, you can easily go in and just kind of whack those down, but Tier 3s require quite a few items.
Well, not even backdoor. Just, you know,
Yeah.
if Union Gaming's trying to siege, and then the creep wave is there, and then all of a sudden, you know, the fight goes well, they win the fight. The creep equilibrium is for top 5. They can just go top and really capitalize with that.
I've
with
actually
Tiny
seen
combo.
situations where they've just thrown a BKB on a Tiny, relocated him in if the creep wave even got close to the tower, and just had him use the BKB, get the creeps up on the tower, and just whack at the tower until he died. And sometimes he can take out the entire tower just by doing that.
Yeah, I mean, especially he's got the Ags now, which is going to be very, very nice.
Oh, yeah,
He's got
what
the
is
Yasha
that?
for some attack speed, and he could be going for the AC next if Dragonite isn't already trying to get it. Dragonite's still sitting on the Shadow Blade, looking to get up into that BKB is the next item. He's got the recipe already. If we check out the Courier, there's no Mithril Hammer, so still waiting on, what is it, going to be 600 gold just about here for that big item pickup. 4 staff on the Crystal Maiden, going to be pretty nice. Other supports with 4 staffs, no, don't see them, but Wisp does have a Yuled Scepter, so he's going to be able to survive a little bit longer.
Yep,
An
that
item
Yuled
I don't
Scepter
really
just to
agree
keep him-
with
Yeah, just to
is
keep
the
him
Manta
alive and not
style.
relocate. That's all.
The
it
Yules
is.
is fine. This
Yeah.
Manta style for Shadow Fiend, I don't really understand. Going against Dragonite Cleave, your illusions are gonna die pretty much immediately. I guess it's just to get out of the Frostbite if you happen to get caught in that. But BKB will do that anyway, so...
I think it's more for the stats that it gives, in which case I think a straight up Yasha, or maybe a Sanjin Yasha even, might have been a little bit better, but I mean, it does give good stats, you can't deny that, and it helps if you are pushing, it helps the push happen a little bit faster, so it's definitely
yeah, and Shadow
decent
Fiend doesn't
at
really need items anyways, so he's good.
that. No, you just go up naked and start bashing on people, it's fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the way his right-click scales, it's not like you necessarily have to go for a huge damage item right away, and,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
definitely.
it isn't, but it definitely helps. The stats are good, like you mentioned.
Well, the right click
Yeah, would've-
scales, but attack speed scales with it as well, so.
Would have rather seen some lifesteal, I think, coming out from him.
Well, he's using it for a free
Just
ward
what are
right
you
now, so
hiding, Rashawn?
I guess that works. But Roshan taking a lot of damage, already about half health and falling fast. He's going to go down before top 5 even realize what's going on.
Also, I mean, a Blink Dagger would be pretty good too with the BKB. Blink in to get your ultimate off. Not that he's had too much of a problem getting the ult off, but it's also, if you see that relocate on the ground, if they're coming to gank you, you can just blink away and then Tiny Wisp. They won't be able to find you. So it's a good item in that sense, defensively, this
Smoke
game.
up. Tiny could be in a lot of trouble here. He's going to go ahead.
He's
He
gone.
TP's out. Wisp also is going to TP. And I think Union Gaming are very smart to realize that the TP is going to happen. They should probably go find a new target. And they're going to go straight on towards the mid lane. Try to keep him out, but they could find themselves sandwiched in a pretty bad position really quickly if they try to go in on this too aggressively. There's 3 up, smoked in. They're looking for, oh, it's going to be Tiny. Going to get gone on. He's got nothing. Fiend's Grip to burst it down. Io trying to get that relocate off, but just doesn't get it in time. He's going to get blown up really quickly as well.
Yes, he is.
And now the rest of top 5 are going to get absolutely cut off here.
Unstoppable!
And they're going to go around, rightfully so. But I think they went under vision. Is Fight going to get out? He will get out just
Radiant's
fine.
middle tower is under attack.
So yeah,
Dire's
that,
top tower is
getting
under
caught
attack.
out there, I mean, a relocate might have been better used if they hadn't been so aggressive to go in the
Dire's
top lane right now,
structures
take
are
out that tower,
fortified.
and then maybe have come back to a fight. But they weren't able
Yeah,
to
it
relocate
definitely
off
would have
it.
been. I mean, to get that tower trade right there and then just hope to defend on your high ground with ET would have been so much better considering they're already behind, so making the trade is going to be really beneficial, even if it's not the best trade. But they trail now, actually, top 5 by about 8,000 gold, a little over 10,000 experience. As who actually picked up the Aegis? It was, of course, the Shadow Fiend here. He's 6 and 5. It was the Citadel show, of course, in game 1, but right now it's the Angel show, which actually is a show. 6, 0, and 7 here on the Timbersaw. 16 charges on the Bloodstone and the Shiva's Guard.
Yeah, this Timbersaw has been proving fight and fight again that he is going to make an impact and he is going to turn fights around single-handedly. And that's exactly what he's been doing. I'm not to say that the rest of his team hasn't been on point, you know, with the Fiend's grips, with the arrows, with even the Requiem of Souls, but he's just been the one that's been controlling the paces of these fights and really making it go for the win. Meanwhile, it's going to be Shadow Fiend that might be taking some aggression, but it's going to be the wrong illusion that he decides to throw the stun out on, and there's going to be the instant disengage coming out from top 5 here as their smoke failed. They're right now out of position in their jungle, and Tiny and Wisp again are in a really weird position. But again, Tiny and Wisp, that last time I was meaning to talk about how they knew the smoke was happening, or at least they had an idea that the enemy was going for them. So when they got back, they situated themselves way ahead of the tier 2 tower, or not way ahead, but far enough ahead of the tier 2 tower that it gave Bane the perfect opportunity to come immediately out of that smoke and go in. So an arrow is going to fly. It's going to miss barely on the Dragon Knight, but here comes Angel ready to go. They chain up stuns right on top of each other, and now with a slow up on fight, they get in range of the Fiend's grip. This is good dead Dragon Knight. Benchels grabbing a killing spree for himself. Meanwhile, Nor and Shanks just backing themselves up, and with Io and Tiny, they're not relocated up here. They're just going straight forward.
Is under attack.
Maybe not rightfully so, but they're going to.
It's good that they did that, though. I mean, if they didn't have Wisp Tiny,
yeah,
they wouldn't be doing anything. They would just be sitting trying to defend. So at least they have some sort of split push rat Dota. They could have relocated back to help out their team, but the Dragon Knight got caught out. That it wasn't really going to be worth it.
Well, definitely. And yeah, they did force a couple of TPs back, which removed the aggression. I guess it's exactly what you can hope for with the Rat Dodo. And they were kind of hoping for that last game where they could force the game to go on long enough that they could come back. But hopefully, it looks like they're doing a little bit better of a job this game. The Angels having a fun time trying to take out this Io, but the Yule Scepter's there, and that's going to keep Io alive.
I mean, that's a bad sign. When your Wisp carry combination is running away from a Timbersaw, I mean, something went wrong at some point during this game, and it was really just getting behind in the early game again. We see at about 8 minutes, Union Gaming was leading by maybe about 4,000. There was a nice fight that brought it back, but ever since about maybe the 12-minute mark, it's once again been all Union Gaming with some big team fights at the Roche pit, but Union Gaming always getting, you know, the slightly better end of the trade. They've also been able to take out the 2 Roshans and get the Aegis up on Citadel's Shadow Fiend, who now has some Crystallis.
If there is one saving grace, though, for top 5 is that their Rat King is at pretty much the top of the net worth chart, trading first position with this Timbersaw. So, again, if he can get behind with this Hyperstone, towers are going to melt. And already top lane's pushing in, bottom lane's pushing, but if you have a forward defense that successfully, or at least partially successfully, is able to defend, and that Wisp Tiny is able to go off and kill a tower on another side of the map, then it's well worth it to drop maybe 2 or 3 to make a defense.
I mean, even trading Arax for Arax at this point is going to be worth it for the top 5. Just because of the threat. I mean, they can do it again, and then they've got the global ability, so they can maybe even base race you
They also have some pretty good anti-push on top 5. I mean, Crystal Nova, they've got Astral Spirit, Breathe Fire. If anything happens, I mean, top 5 can defend. And Wisp Tiny is exactly what they need to be doing. Wisp Tiny up in the top lane, go on this tier 2. The creeps are going to come in, remove the back door, and already we see that Union Gaming are having a little bit of trouble pushing up onto the high ground, but they immediately go for it. It's going to be a glyph being used up. Fly trying to go in. It looks like he wants to go ahead and trade the racks, like you said, and I think he's going to be able to do it. They actually force Union Gaming off bound bottom, and the tier 3 is taking a lot of damage. Fly going straight in for this. They're not making any TP to defend it. Here we go, the 2-man TP, and they're going to back off. That's a tier 3 for nothing. And the relocate, bringing Tiny out of there. I don't see the relocate. There it is. Straight in on PGMP. Angel also taking a lot of damage. Fly, though, could fall here. It looks like he is. Wisp will use Yule Scepter, kitchen himself.
That's so broken.
What happened to Wisp? He died.
He did. What?
So, Wisp Tiny, I don't think that was the best relocate they could have gone for. They got the tier 3, but now that they've relocated and died, they are not going to... At least it's not going to be a good trade for them, as they're probably going to lose their tier 3 as well.
Well, it looked like Wisp literally uled right where my camera was, so I had like a ball in the middle of my screen, the entire screen, and I thought he got away because the counter was at 1, but it looks like he died from damage over time afterwards.
Yep. So it looks like Tiny's going to have to buy back here. And that's going to make, I think, you know what? To be fair, I don't think it's a bad buyback. He's actually going to pick up or be in range of a kill. Doesn't get the gold for it, but still gets to be in the position of it. Angel's going to get Dragon Tail over the back lines, but nothing going to happen. They do have a gem now, as they did pick one up. I'm not sure if they lost it and they picked it up again, or if they just had one from the Venomancer.
It was Venomancer.
Tiny. He just bought back. Is this going to be a dieback? Nope, there's going to be a... Io coming in and keeping him alive. The Earth Splitter is off the mark as well as the Stomp, but that's all you need to force the disengage. And Tiny's going to be able to stay alive. In fact, they're still chasing.
It would be a good time for Benjaz to group up here.
No, they don't grab the Tiny.
That's not good.
They
wasted the relocate there. Benjaz is getting the top tier 2 tower. Now I think if Union Gaming wants to group up, there isn't going to be, for 70 seconds, another Earth Splitter. So Union Gaming has a window of opportunity here to maybe take the racks without worrying about that pressure from Fly, as well as the Io being played by Life Winner. And Roshan actually taking a look at that timer. That's going to be up in a little under 2 minutes. So that'll be up for grabs. The Aegis and the cheese that some tower push comes in here. MKB Desolator up on Benjaz. Some big right-clicking items as the AC is going to be finished pretty soon, I think, on Fly. And yeah, the Rod of Owie indeed up there for Angel. It's going to be pretty nice. So, you know, people have been running away from him, so, I mean, get that Rod of Atos. I mean, a Sheep Stick probably would have been better.
This Timbersaw, if you kill him, he's coming right back into the fight.
Yeah, instantly.
I think if you kill him twice, he's coming right back in. He's got 2 Aegises. This is amazing.
If he picks it up.
This is amazing. Well, no, even if he doesn't, he'll come back
Yeah, I mean, it's still going to
instantly.
be a fast.
If he dies to the Aegis, he comes back instantly the second time he dies. And the third time, yeah, it's probably only going to have like 10 seconds on the cooldown countdown. What is that? 9 charges on the Bloodstone. We're going to reduce it by how much?
It'll go to 12 off of this one. I believe, if we're crunching math. It's a third of its charges, yeah, it's going to go to 12. And then after that, it's going to go to 8.
A third? Oh, it goes to 12. I thought it lost a half. What am I talking about?
It would go to 12 and then it would go to 8. So if he dies twice, he'll still be at the default where you buy the Bloodstone at with 8 charges. So
12 reduces it by 4
No, that was a
seconds,
fourth. I did it by a fourth. It'll be like 7 or 6 if he dies twice. But that's probably not going to happen. I mean, he's already gone 38 minutes almost without dying. Now he's got a Rod of Atos. Of course, a Vite booster goes into that, so it's some more HP coming his way. I think the Sheep maybe would have been better, but, I mean, the Gold Graph over 10k, it's officially a large lead, and already the Plague Wards from PMJPS looking to just build them up and go for this Roshan that's respawning in about 50 seconds.
Yep, and they've got Plague Wards down. That's going to be able to scout it out, or at least it won't scout it out. He needs to put like 1 more down, and the next after 10 seconds pass before they even know what comes up. But they're gonna. It looks like top 5 are gonna hang down. They see a double damage rune. They're gonna pick up a double damage rune, and a double damage on a level. They need to get level 16 on this Dragon Knight.
Well, DK's got to be careful, though. If he pops DD, he could just get Fiend's Grip, and if he happens to pop DD and then BKB,
he loses DD.
He'll purges the double damage, and I see players make that mistake pretty much 90% of the time, at least at this level of play.
So Vision in the Roche Pit's gone, but he's back in 10 seconds. They're probably going to be able to figure that one out very soon. They've got National Spirit to scout it out, and it might be the first to see it. No. It's back now, though. And so here's Wisp Tiny doing what they need to do. I think this is we're gonna see a Nature's Prophet play coming out here. If Union Gaming decide to go for Roshan, they're gonna have to deal with a Tiny pushing in their base. If they don't go for Roshan, then top 5 are gonna have to go for Roshan. But it looks like, you know what? Benjaz is just gonna have an easy time taking it down on his own. So
yeah, he's got the armor reduction now. Timbersaw is also top, so they might not. They definitely know Rosh is happening, but
yep.
Timbersaw can stop that push from Tiny Wisp unless they kill him up here in the top lane.
Timbersaw is getting heavily damaged here. They need 1 more stun to take him out, though, and they can't seem to do it. Meanwhile, Roshan falling way too fast, and this is a cheese Roshan.
My pet,
they actually get the stomp off, but no one's there to deny the cheese or at least take it for themselves. So the classic Rat Dota maneuver not exactly working here, and
yeah, now we're at 40 minutes, so there can only be more Rat Dota unless Union Gaming puts a swift end to it with this Aegis and with this cheese. They need Mirana to work on pushing out the top lane, which is exactly what Benjaz is doing right now. Venomancer are going to push the mid at least to across the river, maybe with the help of Timbersaw and Shadow Demon and, not Shadow Demon, but close, Shadow Fiend and friends in the bot lane. Going to work on pushing there. It's just at this point of the game where you don't want someone to get picked off because then it delays that inevitable 4 or 5 man push that Union Gaming needs to get going here pretty soon, and I would like to see top 5 maybe try to kill somebody here.
Well, the Blink Dagger on the Bane, it's going to be a little bit difficult for Tiny Wisp to try to do anything, but Benjaz, he's going to get hit up, and he's going to die here. He's not even going to be able to use his cheese, just way too much, and that's going to be 500 gold going the way of Dragon Knight, and, well, that's going to be 3 heroes now, or at least Tiny Wisp, committing to a push on top. Now there is that one hero lacking. They always are going to have at least a lane where they can safely push.
Yeah, I'm glad they finally went and ganked. I wanted them to go kill somebody. Every time they do that, they've got the Wisp. It's what they should be looking to do as long as they've got the intel. They know they're not going to enter a 5-man fight if they relocate on someone. So they pick off Benjaz and they buy themselves a whole lot of time to extend this game and continue the Rat Dota. But it actually looks like they might want to have some fun here and get aggressive, which I think is going to be a mistake here versus Aegis and this cheese, unless they find
get the right
Citadel.
Dragon Tail on Kuxin here, but they do have a Moonlight Shadow. A Earth Split comes out. It does it on Kuxin. He can't seem to run away here, but he's man-fighting this Dragon Knight very well. Does have the evasion up, and it looks like his Requiem of Soul is going to get canceled. The immediate Dragon gets dispelled, and now Kuxin going to be able to pick up that kill. There looked like there was a buyback from Benjaz, or at least he came back alive. Nor getting completely dominated up here, but he does get the stomp off, which is going to give him plenty of time to escape. And, well, it looks like, wow, Wisp Tiny, what happened to them?
Not really sure. I was watching the man fight between Citadel and the Dragon Knight, but I believe it was Gosu Reed King on the Bane had a nightmare, or had a Fiend's Grip go off, and then Angel was able to focus him down as we see them take out the Elder Titan there. And you were correct, Benjaz on the Mirana did buy back, and I don't think with all that much time remaining, but clearly worth it here, as we got Citadel now coming into the bottom lane with his Boots of Travel, looking to push it out. They're going to try to end the game off of this.
Looks like they have buybacks on all but Dragon Knight right now, so they're probably going to need to use that on Elder Titan, on Tiny, because Dragon Knight's actually coming back in 7 seconds. Yeah, they're definitely going to use that. They've lost their racks, though. There's nothing they can do to defend these racks. They might even lose 2 sets of racks. If this arrow hits, it does hit, and IO immediately blown up.
They haven't even used Lift yet, nor bought back. Little interesting.
They're losing 2 sets of racks here. And they're actually going to go for a third right now immediately. Have top 5 given up on this game?
It looks like they've given up. They haven't used the Glyph of Fortification. They haven't bought back.
They're going to try to go in here. Shank's going to get immediately, or not immediately, but he's going to get forced off by the Chakra Magic, or Chakram. Tiny going straight on in, going to do a lot of damage. He's actually going to take out the Bane immediately, and that's going to mean that he's not going to get a food script up. Meanwhile, Requiem of Souls at a far away, but Fly is going to get blown up. Angel taking a lot of damage. He's actually going to fall for the first time in this game to the freezing field. Meanwhile, Kuxin going to die. He's got the Aegis to bring himself back up and alive. PMJSP, whatever his name is, gets blown up. Kuxin going to come back, going to go down on the back line of that Aegis. And the only ones left alive are Bane and Timbersaw. Timbersaw, rather, coming back alive immediately, as we said, and walks back, or TP's back with the Boots of Travel, and had to get immediately forced off. This is a GG push coming in from top 5 here. There are...
Yeah, I think it has to be. I mean, they just gave up a lot, and there's a creep wave pushing into the top. I mean, this Rax could go down potentially just to that. So if they're all in right now, they better be all in.
Don't have buybacks.
I mean, Timbersaw is already up. He will respawn pretty much immediately again anyways. There's the buyback, so they force out 1, which is going to be nice.
Only the Shadow Fiend. He's already got his Requiem of Souls on cooldown, so can't use that. 18 souls anyway. They're going to go for the defense here. Timbersaw getting Yules up. They have to try to make a go on him. Shank's going to throw the Frostbite out. BKB's on Kuxin. He's trying to do the damage, but there's a Ghost Scepter onto Shanks, a Rod of Atos. There is a Nightmare, onto Nor. Fly trying to walk away, not taking a lot of damage, but they're just delaying for the Mirana to come back alive. Angel gonna get blown to pieces here, gets frostbitten on the backlines of that chain, and he has 25 seconds with buyback, so he should be able to buy back if he needs to. Meanwhile,
it's Megas.
top barracks are gone. This is Mega Creeps. This is all in
Dire's middle tower
for
is under
the top
attack.
5 here. If they can't make this happen, they lose this game right now. Fly trying to do what he can, but Radavato's out on fight. There's a lot of damage on him. Feed script going down on Fly. There is an overcharge coming out from Io to keep him alive, and Fly is getting blown up by the Mirana. There's Nor taking out the Mirana though on the back lines, but he's gonna fall to the Bane. Freezing field to Fly, actually taking out Timbersaw again, who does not have buyback now. But right now, Radiant's base is going to hell, and there is not much they can do about it. This is pretty much GG.
Yeah, well, that's about as all-in as you get, and they weren't even able to break the mid racks, which is unfortunate for top 5, but Union Gaming got to feel pretty happy about themselves. They took out 2 racks on their own. The Creep were able to do the rest, and I don't know if my interface is bugged, but Glyph of Fortification is still available right now for top 5.
Not bugged, I see it too. And
I want to think that their strategy was to not buy back, to not use the Glyph, so that when they did go all-in again, if it entered into a base race scenario, that they would have buybacks and that they would have the fortification for when it came to fighting, you know, throne for throne, is the only thing I can think that they were doing, unless they were inner conflicts / giving up. But then they fought so strongly in their base to turn it around and then try to push mid. That couldn't have been the case. So I don't know. Just trying to rationalize what's going on here.
On top of that, even when they went in for the mid lane, they had all of their focus on the tier 1 tower, and their tier 4s are vulnerable. If they went all in for a fight there and trying to kill everyone and then went for the tier 4s, they might have been able to make a go at something.
Yeah, because like that tier 3 in the top lane's been gone for a long time, so they could have just gone to the tier 4s and tried to bring them down, even without winning the game, without getting a Rax, and you were Mega. That would have been one hell of an achievement right there.
Yeah. But top 5 sealing their fate, as you talked about. The lack of buying back when you needed it, the lack of using Glyph when they needed it. They gave away 2 free Raxes when they only need to give away at most melee Rax in the bottom lane. And even that would have been able to be a good comeback, because if they had made the same push with only a melee Rax being down, they would have been able to stay a hell of a lot longer, or at least not been so pressured to make mistakes. And unfortunately, they gave away that luxury when they decided to go greedy, and they're paying for it. There are no buybacks in the field right now, though. Mirana has hers in 17 gold, though. At this point, I don't see where top 5 can come back. I mean, they're fighting against Megas fairly decently, but even that will only last for so long. They've smoked up, but even a base race at this point will end poorly for them.
I mean, technically they've got Wisp Tiny, so they do have a lineup where it is possible to come back from Megas, but they're pretty far behind at the moment. It's not like a close game.
Let's be honest here. A Wisp Tiny can come back from a lot of things, but Mega Creeps, I think the plan here is to move 3 heroes in, try to get a lane pushed out far enough, or try to get a pick off. It looks like they're going to try to actually get up Roche, but unluckily for them, it's up in 2.5 minutes, and they have no lane they can push in.
Too.
They can't push in a lane. It's Mega Creeps. They've got nothing.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
and then, I mean, Wisp Tiny really can't do anything. They're not going to be able to keep Creep out of their base, and there's Boots of Travel up on the Shadow Fiend who can just TP, BKB, and take down the throne. I mean, the tier 4s are still up, but I don't know. It's pretty much all she wrote. Top 5 just hanging in there. They don't want to just give up.
I mean, it is game. This is match point. If they lose this, then they're out. So
yeah.
And
well,
of course,
just out of this,
it around.
It is a double elimination bracket, so of course they will just move down.
Oh yeah.
So they've got that going for them. They still got the potential to come back and win in the finals. So no one losing here tonight is out of the tournament, but it looks like Union Gaming likely to advance out of this 2-0 straight into the finals, and those are going to be actually January 30th. Prior to that, of course, we're going to have a lot of lower bracket action, so if we want to go over that quickly, lower brackets also going on tonight, just unfortunately no one around to cast them. What else do we got? After that, it's going to be January 20th, January 23rd, the lower bracket finals will be the 27th, and then January 30th. That is going to be the CEVO finals. All of those, the default time at 8 p.m. Central.
Yeah, definitely. So if you can, I mean, well, you always can. Come back, come down and watch some great Dodo because we're going to be sure to cover at least the lower bracket finals. After this point, there is, again, no more action in the upper bracket until the grand final. So we'll probably be picking up a couple of the lower games from this point on. So always some good Dota and store here at Play CEVO 1. I really recommend you go ahead and follow this channel, as well as try to follow us on Twitter to keep updated on to when we go live, or us personally, as well as with CEVO. So it's going to be a quick Roche attempt going back on into this game.
Very quick.
Yeah, it goes down without any fight. And here's a fight breaking out, but fight just doesn't have the damage. It looks like he's trying to do a lot, but wow, Angel getting caught in the back of that. They're actually going to go ahead and get a two-man wipe here. There's a Hagus used, 3 down already, and Kooksin getting immediately blown up.
They actually just win that fight. It's a really nice relocate, but an even better Earth Splitter there from the ET that had 3 people standing on top of each other. And Angel, down to 6 charges on the Bloodstone from about 18. Has the Heaven's Halberd extending his life a little bit, but he will go down. Meanwhile, back at the base, the Throne is now losing some HP as the Tier 4 towers have been obliterated. And although that was an amazing fight for top 5, it still looks like it's going to be the story of too little too late.
And that was an incredible fight. Where was that 10 minutes ago when they were pushing up on the Tier 3? That's my question.
I mean, they finally got the fight that went good for them, or went well for them. They were able to get a really nice Earth Splitter. DK opened up with a stun. Tiny was able to stun some people. BKB timings, they're shorter right now. People's BKBs are only lasting for 4 and 6 seconds, so that is an item that gets, weaker as the game goes on, where the other heroes are getting stronger. So they definitely paid for it there.
Tiny, well, he was trying. Looked like he was trying to push out a lane, but this is the sad thing about being mega creeps, and this is why it was a little bit of a misplay just to let all 3 of those racks fall. Because to be honest, they quite consciously let those fall. And
yeah, they definitely did.
It just means that you can't push. Meanwhile, they're trying to set something up. They're trying to get like at least some boots of travel, something so that if they can push up to Union Gaming's base, they can go in and TP and maybe try to base race it. But you're base racing against Mega Creeps and Naked Throne. You need 4 or 5 more team wipes to win the game. And to be honest, with a Rat Ancient that's exposed, you don't have 4 or 5 more team wipes. You don't even have 1 more team fight.
I mean, we saw the team fight win. They lost 2 Tier 4 towers, but
looking at a team fight mid, and that's going to completely lose. Tiny's coming in, trying to do the damage. He's got a lot of damage going for him, but meanwhile, you see what the downside of this is. They're doing the damage, they're winning the team fight, but their base is getting destroyed. And now Fly with the... man, he's going to go down here. No question.
And the Courier goes down just to top it all off. Look at the Courier, and they're going to finish off the Throne.
This is over. They used the
There's the
glyph now. I mean, now is when you use a glyph? Come on. Ancient's going to fall.
Don't let it
It's a
end.
GG 2-0 by Union Gaming. So, I mean, I'm not going to toot my own horn here, but I was closer in my prediction.
We were both wrong. Let's get that straight first, but you were definitely... Hey, I felt top 5. They're kind of in a slump. They're definitely still a great team, and maybe Union Gaming has been hitting that boot camp, because they seem stronger and stronger than the last couple times. Every time I see them, they seem better than they were in the last the showing. So, impressive.
I mean, there's a lot more to be said about this game, but the bottom line is Union Gaming are advancing, well, guaranteed to advance to the winners bracket finals here. And meanwhile, we have what's it? Top 5?
They're guaranteed to the finals. They're going all the way.
Yeah, top 5. They're going down to the lower bracket. I've got that on my screen right now. They're going to go up against Faded here in the next. No, never mind. Who are they going to go against?
They jumped down to lower bracket
the
round 4, so
that's right.
A couple games on the 16th, which is tonight, and then on the 20th they're going to have to be played before top 5 figures out who they're going to be playing on the 23rd. But I would say, who do I want to predict out of? I predicted Unnerved to win it all, then they came out and got stomped by Avanti's Angles, and wasn't sure what happened on Nerve. I don't know. I think they will advance through that. Maybe Faded. They play pretty well. I mean, they're missing Corey because of course he's in Korea playing for Team Zephyr. But I don't know. Unnerve or Faded, I say, is what top 5 will end up going up against.
Yep, and I've got you as a Skype text again. Oh, there we go. So, sorry about that.
Okay.
I don't even
Over it.
remember switching off my Skype at all. Huh. That's kind of weird. Either way, so it looks like we are done for the night. Of course, I'm Chicago Ted, Twitter handle at TedCast. You can follow me there to get live updates on whenever I go on for the cast, or even if I pick up a stream every now and again. And this guy is my good pal, Helium. Tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter at HeliumBrella, which is also there on the overlay, so no excuses. And then, of course, if you want to help support us, what we do here at CEVO TV, make sure to follow Play CEVO-1, which is primarily Dota, and that's because CSGO is more popular right now within CEVO. So only the community can change that for us. But make sure to follow all the CEVO channels. Play CEVO, Play CEVO 1, 2, 3, etc. You figured it out.